That was our trailer. It was made by Vincent Beaumont and Isaac Lay a few years back. Music by Slow. Thank you to those guys. Thank you to all of you for coming. Welcome here to celebrate Grapevine's 10th birthday. It was 10 years ago last Wednesday that the first post went up on Grapevine. And that time I had no idea that, couldn't imagine that we would be celebrating 10 years of Grapevine at some point. When I started Grapevine and put that first post up, I had no business plan. I had no plan at all, actually. Those days it was really hard to find information about our events in the arts and culture scene. The best source of information was word of mouth, which is also known as hearing it through the grapevine. I was involved, was active in the art scene, so I would hear by word of mouth about events that were going on. And there were friends of mine and acquaintances who were not actively involved in the art scene who said, well, when you hear about something, let me know. Send me an email. So I was sending out quite a few emails and getting tired of it. And blogging was just becoming popular at that time. And I thought, that looks like a really good platform. I can put the information online. I'll save myself a lot of time. And just let people go online and look at the stuff. So I did that. I started it on a blogging platform. Quickly became quite clear that there was a big demand for this information. I had just let a handful of people out of my own private address book know that it was there. And to my surprise, this traffic started slowly ticking up. And started to think, well, we really ought to have a list of addresses of venues so people know where to find the events. Should have a calendar so that they know which days, what's on, and what's on next weekend. Should send out email updates so people know when there's something new on the site. Should have a list of artist websites so people can learn about the artists who are working here. And of course, it should probably be bilingual as well. And so, as those things started to come on board, staff was needed too. I needed people for translation, I needed people for tech support, social media, graphic design, all of that kind of stuff. So, that's how it went. My time-saving project became a passion, and it became an obsession, and it took over my life. So on Grapevine's first birthday, it went bilingual, and together with that came my first employee. I hired the first person to work for Grapevine as a part-time translator, and that person was Mien, who I think everybody knows here. Obviously taken on a much larger role over the years. But over those years, our team grew up. The Grapevine management team made up of 3 remarkable young women. That was Mien and Hui, who are both here with us tonight. Hui flew in today from Singapore. Thank you for joining us. And the third member of the group is Ling, who is in Japan and sends her greetings from Japan, but couldn't come, unfortunately. But I have to say that one of the greatest benefits of this whole project was the fact that I got to work with these 3 remarkable young women. It's been a real pleasure for me to work with them, get to know them, and to become friends. That's been one of the greatest benefits for me of this experience. They have assembled also over time a support team who they will introduce to you in a moment. That support team, they're the people who work behind the scenes every single day, putting Grapevine online for our thousands of readers. Tonight is a big moment because tonight we are handing Grapevine over to a new management team. 2 of the members of that team, Wen Li and Huang Lan, who you will also meet in a couple of moments, are people that I have known for many years, and people who have supported Grapevine for many years, right from the early days. So I'm really pleased to know that Grapevine is going into their hands. I'm delighted that it's them who will be taking this on. And they have partnered together with an IT team, which is something we desperately need. So welcome to the two of you and to the IT team, and you'll meet all of them in a moment as well. Now, I could go on and on and on about stories from those days, and I have on occasion done that. But I'll just say here we are 10 years later, and Grapevine has become, from those really kind of casual beginnings, it's become an important part of the cultural landscape of Hanoi and of Vietnam. And it's played an important role in supporting artists and the art scene and bringing artists together with their audiences. So I stand here basically bursting with pride about this. There are some people here tonight who remember those early days and who made big contributions to the success of Grapevine. First person I'd like to mention is my wife, Elke. Elke made she was the financial support for the first few years. She was the moral support. She gave a lot of good advice, made a lot of important Excel sheets, and she exhibited extraordinary patience as I became more and more obsessed with this project. And when I say I could go on and have done so, mostly it was to her, and she put up with it. So thank you, Elke, for your contribution. I'd also like to make a special mention of the Board of Advisors. We had, right from the very early days, we had a Board of Advisors who supported us and worked with us and met regularly with us to give us advice and guidance. And two of the members are here tonight. Natalia Krajewskaya is here somewhere. Oh, there she is, yeah. She's better known as Natasha from Salon Natasha. And Paul Zetter of Ensemble Films, a great filmmaker. And I have to say that Paul has over the years continuously come up with great ideas and great suggestions for growing Grapevine. Two other members of the Board of Advisors are out of the country tonight, so couldn't join us. One is Chang Vu from Manzi, and the other is Chi Ming, who is a well-known musician, performer, composer. So those four people were our board and helped us a lot up to this day, so thank you very much. One other person I would like to make special mention of is Suzanne Lesch from Art Vietnam, because Suzanne was one of the first persons to really recognize the value that Grapevine could present for the arts community here. And so she has consistently over the years purchased logo placement to support us, even sometimes in those years when there weren't any exhibitions where we could put her logo on because she was between buildings or between galleries. Still, every year, faithfully, she has supported us in that way, so thank you for that. There are also some organizations that I would like to mention, some of which are represented here tonight. Organizations who have also been significant in the growth of Grapevine. First one I would like to mention is the Danish Embassy, because the Danish ambassador back in those days, his name was Peter Hansen, he was the first person to give some funding to Grapevine, saying he thought this was a worthy project that should be supported. Not far behind him came the Goethe Institute with some significant contributions, and they are still one of our biggest supporters today. The British Council has played a big role for us over the years. The SPAS has consistently worked with us, and the Japan Foundation as well. So thanks also to those organizations. And of course, when I start to mention names, I know I'm going to miss somebody, and I'm sure I have, so I apologize if that's the case now, but there were many, many supporters, and still are, and grateful to all who have helped Grapevine out. I just would like to say that I hope that this kind of support that we received over these years will continue with the new management team, and that people will continue to support them as they take Grapevine on into the next 10 years, right? So I would like to hand over the mic to the old management team, but just before I do, I hope you've got a glass in your hands. I would just like to propose a toast to say happy birthday to Grapevine, and you know, to say cheers to the last 10 years and to the next 10 years. So if you join me, if you can, on a toast. Say happy birthday to Grapevine. So thank you everybody for being here. Mien, Wei, would you like to take over, please?